Hello and welcome. My name is Sharon and this is Trio.of.Witches Tarot. This video is a response to Meg at Rose Honey Ritual. We're kind of talking about oracle decks and she wanted to see more of what I had. We were actually specifically talking about getting postcards and turning them into oracle decks. So anyway, I thought I'd do this as a response kind of to tarot to the extreme and do oracle to the extreme. And I probably won't cover all of the categories, but I will cover a lot of them. So these two are for the minimalist versus maximalist. So the Oracle of Reflections by Celia Melville, the artist responsible for Lily White, Lily Black, Boo, amongst others. Some of her decks, I think, are only in French, and maybe that's why I don't have them. Oh, she has also Lenormand decks, and I don't do Lenormand, so I don't have them. It has a little guidebook in English and in French. And it has spreads and then minimal amount of stuff. So it almost feels like some of these cards are Lenormand cards. Anywho, the backs. Those are the backs. The method that was used to create the cards was tea staining and then some ink work on top of that. I'm going to zoom in. Yeah, so it's very monochrome and very minimal, and it does what I like, which is just has a keyword on it. And you know, I'm not a fan of decks that say like tree. I know it's a tree. Square. Fox. I know it's a fox. This says the fox. The horse. So some of them not so much. Transformation. Still, I like it, and I like the guidebook, and my only disappointment with this, I love this guy, is that it doesn't go with as many decks as I had hoped it would. Just doesn't. I think if I had a perfect pairs video that I did, and I think this went really nice with the Yokai Yochi. So it's got like a wide variety of images in it, which is interesting to me. So I haven't really noticed, like this one just says letting go, right? And then this one says the hermit. So you have a little bit of smattering, edge of the forest, smattering of Lenormand style looking stuff and tarot style stuff, oracle style stuff. Anyway, that is the minimalist deck. Then the maximalist is Hero's Journey. And it comes, a Blue Angel comes in this by Rasuli and Kelly Sullivan Walden. It's kind of a big box, but they're big cards. So those are the backs. Even the backs are kind of maximalist. Has a nice guidebook, a lot of stuff, blah, 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 little quote, message, dream symbol, mantra. So this is what's on the card. So you have the title and then a little kind of keyword thing. So you can use this more intuitively. This is what I like in a oracle deck, is where one, give me either a number or be alphabetical in the guidebook. And two, I like when there's some writing on the cards, but not a lot. Okay, so this is definitely maximalist. So a lot of color, a lot of energy, a lot to see in the cards. You know, you get your, see there's a lot going on in that card. Discombobulation. And really, really like this. This goes with surprisingly, a lot of decks that I use this with Tarot of the Sevenfold Mystery, which seems like a weird combination, but they really, really work together. And I will include that in a future Perfect Pairs. But this is definitely a maximalist tarot, not oracle deck. Yeah. Okay, so let's do a side-by-side real quick. See if I can get it all in or if I need to zoom out. We're okay, just need to move up a little. Okay. And these kind of don't look terrible together. I can see where I could use them in a reading together with a tarot deck. We might be hard pressed to find a tarot deck that goes with both of these though. It's rare that I use two oracles at the same time though. See, if I had a tarot that was like this would go, right? I don't know, let me know what you think. If you have either of these and you pair them with some tarot decks, I would love to hear what your combinations are. So that's Maximalist, the Hero's Journey, and Minimalist, the Oracle of Reflections. The next category is daytime versus nighttime. So you have Morning Calm Oracle by C.O. Keller and The Wild Mystic by Anastasia Katris. So daytime, Morning Calm. I don't see this enough on TarotTube. It is a beautiful, beautiful deck. That's the inside of the top. It's a really nice size for an oracle deck. It's the inside of the bottom. These are the sigil cards that come with it. They are a different color on the back. I don't really use these, although I probably should, but these feel like more like an altar card, like as a focus for the month or something. It's gilded in this nice kind of sparkly but matte gold. Those are the backs, which are, the blue, which is beautiful. And this is the guidebook. Love the cover of that even. So how to use the cards. Talks about the sigil cards. And then, just enough if you want to use it, but it does have the keywords, the titles on each card. So if you wanted to just use it that way and intuitively, there you go. So there's that. And I just think that the colors in this deck are beautiful. I love the watercolor style of it. And it feels like morning. And it's a great title for it. She's Korean, and I believe Morning Calm is, does it say something about, it's a Korean culture thing. Reading, trying to find it. Don't know. Anyway. Love that. This is a really nice and very versatile deck as well. And I do tend to like decks that are from different cultures. I like to bring that energy and education into my practice. So yeah, so this is the Morning Calm, and while it doesn't, it's not like super positive, it's definitely leans more positive. It's really, I think it's just really great for like the focus of a reading or as an altar card for the month. I use this as the focus of my year ahead reading. So that is my morning or daytime deck, which is the Morning Calm. And my nighttime deck is the Wild Mystic, which comes with a nice hardbound guidebook. A lot of stuff about spreads and, it's noisy, how to use the cards. And then we have a image of the card. It is monochromatic, is black and white and gold. The name of the animal, and are they all animals? I think. Yes, they are. And then a keyword, and the keyword is on the card, not the name of the animal. And then talks about the animal, the shadow, the correspondences, and some spell work you could do. And that is for every card. Since the cards have just the keyword on them, rather than the name, and then, but the book is alphabetical by animal. What I did was I did write numbers on each card, and I put them in order of the alphabetical order of the animal, because some of the animals I wasn't sure what the name was, and it was kind of a pain to look it up. So I have numbers on the cards so that I can find the page easily. It comes in a bigger box with a smaller box inside of it. Those are the backs. That is the front. And they are also gilded more in a copper color. And they're glossy and they still slide. And then you can see here I used a copper gel pen to write the numbers on. And then it has all the imagery for the correspondences on the cards. So, yeah, that's a vulture, but maybe I don't know that. Maybe it's a buzzard. I don't know. You know, it's a snake. But I like that the keyword is there rather than the name of the animal. So it, you know, if I don't want to look it up and I just want to use that and then jump off with my intuition of it, then I can. So this goes really nicely with two tarots that I have, the Marigold and the Divine Feminine Nocturnal Edition. It probably goes with other decks. I imagine with Tarot of the Abyss would be really nice. And we'll include that in a future Perfect Pairs video, which is not this. Bee, like bees, narwhals. So that is koala, the Wild Mystic. So let's do a side-by-side. Nighttime, daytime. So why I didn't even talk about why I like this at nighttime. I don't know. It's just dark. It feels nightish. It feels like it's got that after dark energy. A little bit shamanistic even. Wonder how this would, no, that would kind of double, I was thinking of El Goliath, but that would kind of double down on that energy, which is, I like to not double down. I guess sometimes it helps, but anyway. Yeah. So that is the Morning Calm and the Wild Mystic for daytime and nighttime. So next we have Every Day versus Every So Often. We have Roots and Wings and the Embroidered Graveyard. So Roots and Wings is a very popular deck for very good reasons. These are the backs. It comes in a mini or in this size, which is a regular tarot size. Might even be a little bit shorter. Yeah, a smidge. I have the newer edition, so it's rose petal. I'm not sure what the other one is. I don't think it's rose petal though. It's very bendy and it can be riffle shuffled. I'm not going to do the shuffle category. It's hard to do under the camera like this. But you can fit this nicely. So those are the backs. The font is different, so I think the other one is more of a like a typeface, and this is a you know, cursive. Comes with a couple little cards talking about the deck. It's a little spread, the garden spread. Show that for longer. And a accordion style pamphlet with, you know, a sentence or two about each card. And this deck goes with, I would have to say, you know, 75% of my decks this deck could work with. And just because it's popular doesn't mean that it's, you know, like overly positive or anything. You know, this is a more negative card without being confronting, or a darker card. I don't know about negative necessarily as darker. It does incorporate some of the, you know, the tarot majors into it. And I think it's an incredibly well balanced oracle. And the art style, there's a lot of white space, which is nice. And the art style just has a way of going with so many different decks. It's a really, really nice oracle deck. Like it a lot. So that is the everyday Roots and Wings. And then the every so often is the Embroidered Graveyard, which I followed Mistress Ray's lead on and retitled them, which I will show in a moment. It's a nice box. So the font on the cards was like this, which is I found difficult to read. Love the box. I love the moths on it, or butterflies on the inside of it, skulls and butterflies. It's cool. But the font has just made it hard to read. It's edged in this really cool copper. These are the backs. And so what I did was the same thing that Mistress Ray did, is that I blacked out the original title on the card, and then with a gel pen rewrote the title. Some of them I changed. Some of them, like, they still have the same context, but I just liked the new word better. They're numbered so you can find them in the guidebook easily. Where's the guidebook? I didn't grab it. It's a hardcover guidebook, and it's very, very nice. Has spells and lots of info on the cards. But this feels like more like ancestor work and Halloween to me. So it's not something I would use every day, and it's certainly, the style of it goes with, is compatible with fewer of my tarot decks. I can see where this would, and I haven't tried it yet, would go nicely with the same decks that I use the Wild Mystic with. And maybe some black and white decks. So I will try to remember to do that in a future Perfect Pairs. So yeah, that's the Embroidered Graveyard, which is really nice. I don't have the Embroidered Forest. Is that what her tarot is called? Because I have a lot of animal decks, so I'm getting much more discriminating on what animal decks I add to my collection. Is how many animal decks do I truly need? Either I need them all, or I need to be more discriminating. And I'm going to go with I need to be more discriminating because I have a lot of decks. So that is the Embroidered Graveyard. So let's do a quick side-by-side of Everyday, Roots and Wings, and every so often the Graveyard, Embroidered Graveyard. Oh, it's a nice synchronicity, isn't it? What I really like too about Roots and Wings is that it has human forms in it without having faces. So sometimes I feel like when there's a face and it has an expression, like that directs how I should feel about the card, if that makes sense. And sometimes I don't want that. Sometimes I want to be more free to feel about the card how I feel about it in the moment. And that doesn't mean that next time I see that card, I'm going to feel that same way about that card. I don't know. Does that make sense? Does anybody else think that? Does anybody else have these decks and use them in a different way? Love to know about it. So, every day, every so often. Next category is light work versus shadow work. And at first blush, these might seem very similar. And you might even think that Souls and Spirits is shadow work, but it is my light work oracle. And when I think about light work, I think more about spiritual work as opposed to where shadow work I think about as confronting my shadow and maybe confronting trauma, confronting other things that I don't want to focus on every day. And this is more about, light work is more about how can I level up spiritually? How can I do something that might make me a better person? Not that shadow work doesn't make me a better person. I don't know if I'm making sense. Anyway, this is the Earthly Souls and Spirits. Comes with a little fold-out pamphlet. This is the print-on-demand version. There is a new version, which is by US Games, and you can pre-order it now, and it's going to come with a 150-odd page guidebook. I pre-ordered it because I want the guidebook, and I wouldn't mind a backup of the cards. This was way more expensive ordering it off of Make Playing Cards than it's going to be from US Games. So get it from US Games. The hardbacks are going to be the same. I have no idea about the card thickness or anything, or whether they're going to be glossy or matte. So, it's Make Playing Cards. It's a little heavier cardstock than a lot of Make Playing Cards, and it's glossy, which I usually end up, the decks I've gotten on there have either been linen or matte, and they're regular tarot size. So let's look at cards. Yeah. It's very light. I mean, this could almost be like a daytime deck, even though, it's kind of witchy. And it does have maybe a little bit more of a positive bent. But, think words like celestial and mystical and abundance, joyous, positivity, success. When I'm using this as a focus in a tarot reading, then it just gives it that bent of, how to be, for me at least, on focusing on how to be a better person. So that is that one, light work. And then the shadow work is Oracle of Echoes. And this is a beautiful deck also. This is the second edition, and she's doing pre-orders on some sort of cycle. I don't know what it is. I etched mine in purple and then put like a sparkly pen over that. And those are the backs. And this feels like kind of like the Make Playing Cards stock that I was talking about before. It's more matte, satiny, and a little bit thinner. So it's easy to shuffle, riffle, shuffle. Anyway, just something about this art style and the keywords. If anything, they have a little bit more of a shadow work bent to them, if that makes sense. And something about this art style and the imagery, I don't know, just reaches down and finds stuff inside of me. That's home, but it's the way it's drawn. For me, it's kind of like more of a haunted house almost feel. And it is a very balanced deck. I'm not going to say it's not, but even like this Let Go, it's like you're letting go into the unknown. There there's a rainbow and happy people over there waiting for you. There's, I don't know what's over there. So let's do a side by side. I think these two next to each other are going to be really, really nice, and might even be like I should be using them together in the same reading, kind of an above and below. What is it that the tree and the trunk or something? I forget what someone else has called it in the past that I follow. Yeah, I do like these together. I'm going to have to try that in the same reading using both of these, as they don't fight each other. They kind of play really, really nice with each other, don't they? Interesting. No, it's just interesting to me that my light work and shadow work are not entirely dissimilar from each other. Discord and serenity. Earth and rest, yeah. These definitely speak to each other in a very interesting way. Okay, so that is my light work and shadow work. The next category is Confronting versus Comforting. We have the Untamed Truth Oracle cards, which is an indie deck, and the Enchanted Blossoms, which is a mass market deck. So let's start with the Untamed Truth, which from the box doesn't look confronting. I think I got this from someone on a Facebook group. I don't know if this is available right now. Maybe on Etsy. I'll try to provide a link. So, they are just regular tarot size. They come with a little guidebook, which is very nice. There's a lot of info for each card. They are in alphabetical, no, they are not in alphabetical order, so you kind of got to search for your card. Let's see if they have a table of contents. So, yeah. And there isn't so many cards that it's hard to find. So that is the guidebook, and that's the backs of the cards. And again, they're like kind of that same cardstock as the Earthly Souls and Spirits, huh? A little bit thicker maybe. And the art style isn't entirely dissimilar from like Oracle of Echoes or Earthly Souls and Spirits. It's just a little bit more confronting in some of the cards. Yeah, there's an oh fuck card. There's a fuck it card. And I kind of had a little bit of a difficulty with this category because I don't really know that I have what I would consider like a fully confronting oracle. But this does have some confronting cards in it, I guess. So there's that. And the comforting is the Enchanted Blossoms, which I think it's Martin in the City. He highlighted this, but he said he thought it was toxic positivity. So those are the backs. I don't agree with that, but I can see where he would feel that way, and he's free to feel that way. I take no offense by that. I didn't make this deck. This is the guidebook. And then, so for each card, you get a fair amount. It does have a very positive bent to it, which is why I put it as comforting. They're taller cards. And there's a regular. And they're matte, and they're thick, and they're kind of stiff. So they're a little hard to shuffle. What do I like about this deck? Why do I think it's comforting? So yes, it has a positive bent. I like that there's like these dragon butterfly creatures in every card and the flowers in every card. And it has the name of the flower, and it has the name of the kind of butterfly, and then a keyword. So you can use the guidebook, don't use the guidebook. And, you know, some days I just want a card that isn't confronting, and I don't want shadow work, and I do want some positivity. So this does that. And it makes me feel good. And I love the artwork, and I love the images, and I love these dragon butterflies. I think it's awesome. So let's do a side-by-side. Comforting, and that's my confronting. And let's just flip through. So these don't entirely fight each other, but I don't know that I would use them together either. But I think I could use, I should try. I think these might work together in a reading with the tarot. I don't know. I'll have to see. Like that, you know? Yeah, I kind of like them together. So anyway, that was confronting and comforting. And then we have underrated versus overrated. And I am going to change overrated to, I'm just going to put another deck in here that I don't actually know how I'm going to use it. So let's start with underrated. The Tattered Wings Oracle, because I literally don't see anybody talk about this deck, and it's fantastic. It's by Naya House. It's edged in silver. This is the Intuition edition. She has a new edition. I think it's the Warrior edition that she just had a Kickstarter for, and you can probably get the deck now, if not soon, on her website. And she also has a workbook that you can get now for sure. I've seen it. That works with any edition of the deck. And it comes with a little guidebook. And not all of the cards. So there's some cards that don't have any info in the guidebook. And you have space, you could write your own thing. There's a bigger edition of this guidebook. It's the same thing, just bigger, that I got on Amazon. Because for the cards that are blank, and even for the cards that aren't, like maybe I look up some poetry or something that seems to go along with the card for me. It's like playing cards, cardstock. I wrote on mine a keyword. In most cases is the keyword that was in the guidebook. In some cases it's not. And for the cards that had no keywords in the guidebook, I made up my own. And it was my first attempt at doing that. And so some of them didn't come out as great as they could have. But I'm bonded with this, so I'm not going to replace it or get another. She's also working on a tarot deck now. She has the Fool's Tarot or something like that now, which you can get on her website. But I've been following the current one she's making, and I'm for sure going to be getting it when it's finished. And I have used this as altar cards, where actually I keep it by my bedside, and I'll pull out a card and I'll read what's in the guidebook if it's there. I will look up poetry that might feel inspirational to me, or some quotes that feel like they go with it. Might write them down in the guidebook, and I leave it by my bedside so I see it at night when I go to sleep, and I see it in the morning when I wake up, and I think about it. But this also, I have recently discovered, really pairs well with some tarot decks, like Tarot of the Abyss, which I will include in a future Perfect Pairs video. It has numbers on the cards, but they're so tiny and faint, and the font is hard for me to read. So, yeah, that's a disappointment to me. I'm not sure what that's about. Like, I guess trying to have them not be obtrusive, but they're unobtrusive to the point of being illegible. So yeah, there's some bonus, like this is one of the bonus cards. There's no number on it. And so see here, this has a number that you can see. I just don't understand why some of them have a number that you actually can read and some of them don't. I'm confused by the numbering. But it doesn't matter because I love this deck. And I think more people need to know about it. And I'm not sure if the Warrior Edition has keywords. I don't think it does. I think the Warrior Edition is like this, only maybe there's more color in it or something. I don't know. You should look into it if you're interested. I think you can still get the Intuition Edition as well. And it won't have any words on it. And if you want to write words on it, you can. If you don't, then don't. Okay, so that is my underrated. And then I'm not calling it overrated, but my recent, I'm kind of confused by, this was a Kickstarter. And I love the artwork. Love the flowers. That's the inside. It's about an ascension process, and it's a little woo for me, which is why I'm not sure how I'm going to use it. But I love the artwork, and I'm going to keep it. I might just pull out some cards. So it has this guidebook. Love that picture. I just love this art style. So it talks about units of consciousness, and there's stuff like about Atlantis and Lemuria and things that are not me. But, you know, and it talks about these different beings and stuff like that. But the cards themselves, that's enough about the guidebook. So these are the backs, which are beautiful. And these are the fronts, which are also beautiful. So they each have a keyword on them, which I think is like really all I need. I don't even care that it's what the archangel is or what this being is at all, because I love the artwork and I find the keywords very useful. So again, this is not overrated, not by any stretch of anyone's imagination. I just don't have anything for overrated, so I'm putting this here instead. They're bigger, a little bit bigger than a tarot, a little bit taller and wider than a tarot standard. So yeah, this might be, maybe this is something you're interested in. Maybe you're more woo than me. I'm not saying woo in a derogatory sense. It's just, it's not my thing. It's not where I am right now. But I love this artwork and I like the keywords. So everyone's happy. So let's do a side by side. Interesting. They don't entirely not go together. They kind of actually do go together. So I actually been using the Become an Oracle more as a altar card. So if I'm doing, interesting, you know, my month ahead or something, I'll pull a card from this. Think about it for my month ahead. I do the same thing with my Old Ways Magic. So that is those. So that was my Oracle to the Extreme video and a small sampling of my Oracle decks. So I hope you enjoyed that, and remember to like and subscribe. And comment below if you have any of these, if you use them differently than I do, if you have pairings of any of these with the tarot, if you'd like to see any of these in more in depth or paired with tarot, let me know, because I'm happy to accommodate. Thanks, and have a great day.